Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Exploring Dishes with the Butterfly Princess. Today, we're going to be exploring the dish Blackcurrant Cheesecake. The title of this week's lesson is entitled The Culinary Elegance of Blackcurrant Cheesecake, a symphony of history, culture, and sensation. So here goes. Introduction. Blackcurrant cheesecake stands as a culinary masterpiece, harmonising the creamy indulgence of traditional cheesecake with the bold, tart sophistication of blackcurrants. This dessert transcends mere sweetness, offering a multi-sensory experience that marries texture, flavour, and cultural heritage. From its ancient origins to its modern adaptation, blackcurrant cheesecake exemplifies how a single dish can anticipate history, science, and artistry. This lesson explores its journey from humble beginnings to becoming a centerpiece of gastronomic innovation, desiccating its ingredients, cultural significance, and sensory allure. And as I always say, when this video is posted out, I will include a recipe for the dish, but if you're intrigued, you can try it yourselves at home. So, history. Cheesecake's lineage traces back to antiquity. The earliest recorded recipe documented by a Greek physician in the 5th century BCE featured cheese, honey, and wheat. Roman conquest spread the dish across Europe, where regional adaptations emerged. By the 18th century, cream cheese pioneered in England and later perfected in America revolutionised the dessert into its modern velvety form. Blackcurrants, native to temperate Eurasia, entered culinary province in medieval Europe. However, the integration into desserts accelerated in 20th century Britain. During World War II, blackcurrants were promoted as a vitamin C rich alternative to citrus fruits, leading to widespread cultivation. Post war, their tartness inspired bakers to pair them with creamy cheesecake, creating a balance of flavours that resonated with palates seeking both nostalgia and novelty. A real story, the birth of a classic. In 1954, a London patisserie named the Current Affair experimented with surplus blackcurrants from wartime harvests. Chef Eleanor Whitcomb, seeking to innovate, layered a silky cream cheese filling with a blackcurrant compote atop a buttery biscuit bake. The dessert became an overnight sensation, symbolising post-war resilience and creativity. By the 1970s, Whitcomb's recipe had inspired variations across Europe, cementing blackcurrant cheesecake as a staple of British tea rooms and continental cafes alike. Ingredients: autonomy of a masterpiece. Crust: digestive biscuits or ginger nuts, crushed and bound with melted butter, providing a nutty, crumbly foundation. Butter acts as an infusion, ensuring cohesion and richness. Filling: cream cheese, for example, Philadelphia or mascarpone. the creamy backbone offering a mild tang. Sugar balances the blackcurrant's acidity. Eggs provide structure through coagulation during baking. Sour cream or double cream enhances moisture and silkiness. Blackcurrant puree infuse the filling with vibrant colour and tartness. Topping fresh blackcurrants adds freshness and visual contrast. Blackcurrant glaze, a glossy mixture of puree, sugar and pancake for sheen and flavour conjunction. Cultural significance. In Britain, blackcurrants evoke nostalgia for wartime integrity and childhood treats, like Rabina, which is a blackcurrant cordial. The cheesecake's popularity peaks during summer festivals, where it symbolises abundance. In Eastern Europe, particularly Poland and Ukraine, blackcurrants are foraged wild and features in traditional desserts, reflecting a connection to nature. Japan, meanwhile, embraces blackcurrant cheesecake in coffee shops, pairing it with matcha for a fusion of East and West. Flavours, a dance of conquest. Blackcurrant's high metallic and content between 4.5 and 5.5 pH delivers a sharp, almost wine-like tartness, counterbalanced by the filling lactic sweetness, secondary notes of earthiness and flowery undertones from anthocyanins and terpenes adds complexity. Modern variations might infuse the filling with vanilla, citrus zest, or even black pepper to amplify these layers. Texture, a symphony. Crust, crunchy and grandeur, offering resistance to the fork. Filling, dense yet smooth, achieved through emulsification of fat, cream cheese and liquid eggs. Topping, jelly glaze provides a delicate quivering contrast. Variations, global interpretations. No bake uses gelatin or angular for a light texture, popular in warmer climates. Vegan substitutes, cashew cream and coconut oil for dairy with chia seeds as binders. Savoury sweets, incorporate goat cheese or rosemary for an avant grand twist. Chocolate blackcurrant, dark chocolate crust and ganache enhances the berry's depth. Sensory exploration. Touch. The crust crumbles under pressure while the filling yields luxuriously. Taste. Initial sweetness transitioning to tartness, finishing with a creamy linger. Small esters from blackcurrants mingle with buttery notes. Sight. Deep purple ivory filling garnished with mint or edible flowers. Sounds. The crisp snap of the crust contrasts with the silent glade of a serving knife. What you can serve the dish with. So beverages and dessert wines, for example, sultanas, Earl Grey tea or sparkling rosé. Accomplishments. Vanilla bean ice cream, lemon sorbet or dark chocolate shavings. Festivals and celebrations. The UK's current fair festival in Hertfordshire celebrates blackcurrant harvest with cheesecake competitions. In Finland, they have a celebration called Blackcurrant Day, and this features communal baking, honouring the fruit's role in Nordic cuisine. The science behind the magic: emulsification, cream cheese, protein, bind fat and water, preventing separation. Malignant reactions: browning the crust at 140 degrees centigrade in the oven, nutty flavours. Blackcurrant's natural pudding activated by sugar and heat forms the glazy structure. A dinner party scenario: a soiree in a Parisian loft. A blackcurrant cheesecake commands the table. Candles flicker against its glossy surface as the host, a Michelin-starred chef, recounts its history. Guests marvel at the interplay of textures. First the crust is crunch, then the filling silkiness, punctuated by bursts of fresh berries. Paired with a 1996 Chateau, the dessert sparks conversation about terroir and memory, becoming both a dish and a narrative. Conclusion: blackcurrant cheesecake is more than a dessert. It is a testament to culinary evolution. From ancient Greece to modern kitchens, it bridges eras and cultures, inviting us to savour not just flavour, but history and creativity. As chefs continue reimagining its form, the dish remains a timeless emblem of how simplicity, when crafted with care, can achieve perfection. So here's some few extra bits that I add now to all my lessons. So firstly of all, a detailed analysis of blackcurrant cheesecake, historical perspectives and culinary evaluation. Introduction: a dish of dual heritage. Blackcurrant cheesecake is a culinary hybrid, marrying the ancient traditions of cheesecake with the regional prominence of blackcurrants. Its story is one of adaptation, resilience, and cross-cultural exchange. As food historian Alan Davidson once noted, desserts are often the most revealing aspects of a society's history. Sweetness layered over struggle. This analysis unpacks how blackcurrant cheesecake embodies this duality, tracing its evolution from antiquity to modern gastronomy. Ancient foundations. The earliest cheesecake was not desserts but ritual offerings. In 776 BCE, Greek athletes at the first Olympiad were served plucums, a honey-sweetened cheese, and flour cake to honour the gods. Roman stewardship, Cato the Elder, includes a recipe for ibium, a cheesecake baked on by leaves. These early versions were dense in savoury sweets, relying on Keurig milk rather than cheap cream cheese. Medieval transformations. By the Middle Ages, cheesecake became a symbol of European masculinity. Monks of Normandy and England experimented with soft cheese like fromage frais, while blackcurrants, dubbed the forbidden fruit due to their tartness, were relegated to medical syrups. A 14th century French manuscript, Le Mange de Paris, advised mix currants with honey and cheese to soothe the humours of melancholy. The cream cheese revolution. The 18th century introduction of cream cheese in England via recipes for cheesecake in hanger glasses, the art of cookery, published in hanger glasses, the art of cookery, published in 1747, marked turning point. However, it was the industrialisation of Philadelphia cream cheese in 1872 that democratised the dessert. Blackcurrants, meanwhile, gained culinary legitimacy in Britain during World War II. The Ministry of Food's Dig for Victory campaign promoted them as a vitamin C substitute for oranges, with wartime pamphlets declaring blackcurrants sweetness born of necessity. Post-war fusion. The 1950s saw blackcurrants transition from wartime staples to gourmet ingredients. British chef Marguerite Patton, a World War II food advisor, wrote in Cookery in Colour, published in 1958, the sharpness of blackcurrant cuts through the richness of cream cheese like a knife, a marriage of thrift and indulgence. This era birthed the modern blackcurrant cheesecake, symbolising post-war optimism. Cultural analysis, a fruit of contradictions. Blackcurrants occupy a paradoxical space in culinary history. In Britain, they evoke nostalgia for being a cordial and schoolyard snacks. Yet in the US, they were banned for much of the 20th century due to fears of spreading white pine blister rust. This spectrometry is mirrored in the cheesecake's global interpretations. Britain, a tea-time staple often prepared with clotted cream. Eastern Europe. In Poland, blackcurrant cheesecake is a Christmas delicacy symbolising winter resilience. In Japan, it is served in minimalist patisseries with matcha dusting, reflecting wabi-sabi aesthetics. Food anthropologist Sidney Mites observed, sugar and fruit are never just ingredients, they are carriers of memories and power. Blackcurrant cheesecake with its tart sweet tensions anticipate this. Its flavour profile, a metaphor for the balance between wartime rationing and abundance post-war luxury. Ingredient analysis. Blackcurrants, the tart muse. Blackcurrants contain 4 times the vitamin C of oranges and 2 times the antioxidants of blueberries. Their flavour comes from violet compounds like flora and woody. Chef Heston Blumenthal notes, blackcurrants have a primal sharpness almost feral. They demand to be tamed by fat or sugar. Cream cheese, the emulsifier of luxury. Cream cheese's high fat content, between 33 and 35%, and emulsifying proteins create the dessert's signature silkiness. Food scientist Harold McGee explains, the proteins in cream cheese form a gel network. When baked, trapping moisture without curdling, a triumph of dairy chemistry. Biscuit crust, a textural time capsule. The use of crushed biscuits versus traditional pastry began in 19th century America, where graham crackers repurpose protein dietary restrictions into indulgence. British food writers Nigella Lawson quips, the biscuit base is democracy in dessert form, crumbling hierarchies between the high and low cuisine. Scientific perspectives, the physics of pleasure. Emulsification cream cheese pH between 4.4 and 4.9 stabilizes the fat-water interface, preserving them weeping. Marinade reaction. The crust golden hue comes from reaction between biscuit sugars and butter once it reaches 140 degrees in the oven. Blackcurrant's natural porcelain, 1 to 50, between 1 and 1.5%, sets the glaze without artificial thickness. A process chef Fern Addison calls nature's edible architecture. Contemporary significance, a canvas for invention. Modern chefs use blackcurrant cheesecake to explore terroir and sustainability. Danish chef René Zepper's Normandy's formation features a fermented blackcurrant cheesecake, while vegan versions using cashew cream with plant foraging strengths. At London's The Fat Duck, blackcurrant cheesecake is served as a scented viper, challenging sensory norms. Quotes and reflections. Historical cheesecake is the oldest alchemy. Historical cheesecake is the oldest alchemy, turning milky bounty into a lasting delight. Claude that is from Claude Radisson, the book of Jewish food, and that was published in 1996. Cultural. The blackcurrant is Britain's unsung hero, a fruit that is sweated at and now crowns indulgence. Tom Parker Bowles, from his book The Year of Eating Dangerously, which was published in 2006. Scientifics. Desserts are edible equations in blackcurrant cheesecake. pH balances pleasure. Robert Wilkin, What Einstein Told His Cook, from the book What Einstein Told His Cook, and this book was published in 2002. Conclusion. A dessert's dialogue. Blackcurrant cheesecake is not static but a living dialogue between past and present. From Greek temples to wartime kitchens and Michelin-starred labs, it reflects humanity's quest to transform humble ingredients into transcendent experiences. As culinary historian Ray Tannell wrote, food is the one art form we consume daily, destroying it to create memory. In each bite of blackcurrant cheesecake, we taste history, sweetness, and struggle, a testament to the resilience of both fruit and culture. Next part. So I've come up with 20 questions in relation to this dish, blackcurrant cheesecake, and then after I've read out the questions, I'm going to provide an answer. Question 1. How did wartime rationing in Britain shape the popularity of blackcurrants, and why did this lead to the pairing with cheesecake? Yeah. And why did this lead to the pairing with cheesecake? Question 2. In what ways does blackcurrant cheesecake symbolise the intersection of artistry and indulgence in post-World War II European cuisine? Question 3. Why were blackcurrants banned in the US for much of the 20th century, and how did this impact the dish's global evolution? Question 4. How does the Polish tradition of blackcurrant cheesecake reflect broader cultural attitudes between foraging and seasonal ingredients? Sorry, I can't pronounce the Polish translation for the word blackcurrant cheesecake because I can't speak Polish, so my apologies for that. Question 5. What role did monks' communities play in preserving and inventing early cheesecake recipes? Science and technology. Question 6. How does the pH of blackcurrants influence the texture and stability of the cheesecake filling? Question 7. What chemical processes occur during the Maillard reaction in the biscuit crust, and how do they enhance flavour? Question 8. Why are blackcurrants particularly rich and how do these compounds affect both the dish's colour and health perception? Question 9. How does the emulsification of cream cheese prevent water separation in baked cheesecakes? Question 10. What role does patting play in achieving the glossy texture of a blackcurrant with a blackcurrant glaze without artificial thickness? Ingredients and variations. Question 11. How might substituting mascarpone for cream cheese alter the sensory profile of the dish? Question 12. What technical or environmental considerations arise from the global demand for blackcurrants in gourmet desserts? Question 13. How do vegan adaptations, for example cashew cream, and challenges or replicate the traditional texture of blackcurrant cheesecake? Question 14. Why are ginger nuts or digestive biscuits preferred for the crust, and how do they differ from graham crackers in flavour contribution? Question 15. Could fermented blackcurrants as used by Norma redefine the dish's traditional flavour balance? Is there anything you want? No, what is it you want? You're recording. Yeah, but you're still there, so you're putting me off, so... Yeah, no, but you're putting me off. You didn't, because I've got library for you at time. Right, well, just put me in it and I'll have it when I come down. Yeah, well, how long will you be? About 20 minutes. It won't be long. Oh, yeah, I know. No, wait. Question 16. How does the contrast between the cheesecake's creamy filling and crunchy crust align with principles of neurogastronomy? Question 17. In what ways do the visual aesthetics of blackcurrant cheesecakes, for example the colour, contrast, gloss, enhance its perceived taste? What might pairing the dish with a dessert wine like sake amplify its tartness and sweetness? How does the aroma of blackcurrants, what role does sound play in the experience? Right. So, wartime rationing of blackcurrant popularity. During World War II, Britain faced citrus shortages due to blockades. The government prompted blackcurrants as a vitamin C rich alternative, leading to widespread cultivation. Post-war surplus blackcurrants were incorporated into desserts like cheesecake, symbolising resourcefulness. Chef Margaret Patinot said blackcurrants became a sweet emblem of wartime resilience. Astronomy in post-war blackcurrant cheesecake embodies this dual relative of fungal use of wartime crop blackcurrants paired with luxurious cream cheese, reflecting Europe's transition from sanctuary to abundance. It represents culinary creativity under constraints. US blackcurrant ban and global evolution. Blackcurrants were banned in the US from 1911 right up until 2003 to protect white pine forests from blister rust. This restricted their culinary use in America, allowing Europe, particularly Britain and Poland, to dominate the dishes evaluation. This tradition highlights Poland's foraging ethos, where while blackcurrants symbolise a connection to nature, seasonal ingredients are prized, reflecting a cultural prevalence for freshness and sustainability. Medieval monks in Normandy and England preserved cheesecake recipes using cured cheese. This intervention laid the groundwork for modern variations, blending religious dietary practices with culinary experimentations. pH impact on culture. Blackcurrant acidity interacts with cream cheese proteins, enhancing for a firmer texture. However, excessive acidity can curdle dairy, requiring balance with sugar. Baking the crust at 140 degrees triggers the Maillard reaction, producing that nutty caramelized flavour. This contrasts with the filling's creaminess. The antioxidants 4-6% provide vibrant colour and anti-inflammatory benefits, boosting the dish's appeal as both indulgent and health conscious. Cream cheese protein forms a gel network during baking, trapping moisture. The emulsification prevents water separation, ensuring a smooth texture. Mascarpone's higher fat content, 75% versus 33% in cream cheese, yields a denser, silkier texture but reduces tanginess, alerting the sweet-tart equilibrium. Commercial blackcurrant farming risks sustainable practices like organic farming and local sourcing mitigates environmental impact. Cashew cream mimics cream cheese richness, while anger provides structure. Nutritional yeast or lemon juice replicates tanginess, though achieving identical texture remains challenging. Ginger nuts add warmth via ginger, while digestives biscuits offer a natural buttery base. Graham crackers with cinnamon and honey cater to sweet palates. Formation introduces and funk is seen in Norma's version, redefining the dish's flavour profile from sweet. Right. In Tokyo's cafes, blackcurrant cheesecake is served with matcha, blending European tradition with Japanese minimalism, a testament to culinary globalization. Soil and climate affect blackcurrant flavour, e.g. Scottish berries are earthier, Polish ones are brighter. Ancestral cheesecakes now highlight regional uses akin to wine. Rhetorical questions. How can a single dessert anticipate the resilience of a nation, transforming wartime society into a symbol of post-war triumph? Does the global demand for blackcurrants risk reducing a fruit of survival to a mere commodity, stripping it of its storied past? What does it mean when a dessert's tartness lingers longer than its sweetness? Is this a metaphor for life's balance of joy and struggle? Can a great reinterpretation of blackcurrant cheesecake honour its history, or do they erase the humbling of its origins? In the allure of blackcurrant cheesecake, rooted in its flavour in the childhood memories it evokes by being a sipped summers and grandmother's kitchens. When a British staple becomes a Japanese coffee shop delicacy, does it lose its cultural soul or gain new meaning in a boundless colouring world? Can we savour the luxury of cream cheese and imported berries while ignoring the environmental cost of their production? Is blackcurrant cheesecake a dessert or a canvas where chefs paint with pH levels, terrier and the ghost of history? Why does sharing a slice feel like an act of intimacy, as though passing down a recipe is akin to sharing a fragment of one's history? What does it say about humanity that we've turned ancient offerings to gods into a treat enjoyed in minutes, yet still speak of timeless recipes? And I'm going to answer that. So blackcurrant cheesecake embodies resilience through its historical roots in wartime. During World War II, blackcurrants became a vital source of vitamin C. In Britain, after citrus imports were cut off, post-war, the survival ingredients evolved into celebrity desserts, symbolising triumph over adversity. Its transformation mirrors social recovery, a humble berry turned emblem of national integrity. Global demand risks reducing blackcurrants to mere commodities, while commercial farming supports economies, it threatens biodiversity and raises narratives of survival tied to the fruit. Sustainability requires balancing economic gain with honouring its heritage as a fruit of survival. The tart sweet neutrality mirrors life's balance, fleeting sweetnesses, transcendent joy, enduring tartnesses. This contrast invites reflection on how pleasure and struggle coexist, a culinary tradition. Advert grade reinterpretations can honour history if they retain the essence of humble origins. For example, modern chefs using foraged berries or heritage recipes nod to wartime. However, sterilisation risks erasing its fungal roots. The dessert's allure lies in flavour as a sensory time capsule. By being a sip summers and grandmother's kitchens anchor it to personal and collective memory, making it a vessel for interrogation stories, intellectual storytelling. When British cheesecake became a Japanese coffee shop delicacy, it gains new meaning without losing its soul. Hybridality like matcha infused crust reflects boundless creativity, proving cultural identity evolves through adaptation. The environmental cost of cream cheese and imported berries forces a reckoning. Ethnical indulgence demands transparency in sourcing and acknowledgement of luxury footprint, a tension between desire and responsibility. Chefs treat it as a canvas, manipulating pH for current kernels, vibrancy or highlighting terrier and berry variations. The dessert becomes a medium for technical and historical expression. Sharing a slice mirrors ancestral rituals of communal substances. Recipes passed down like the grandmother's kitchen treat becomes acts of cultural preservation, weaving heritage into daily life. Ancient offerings to gods like honey fruits evolved into desserts, consumed in minutes. Timeless recipes reflect humanity's drive to anchor identity in continuity, even as consumption accelerates. The crust, right. Born from rationing, cheesecake now symbolises excesses. This shift reflects humanity's pendulum between restraint and hedonism, a commentary on how secular society shapes desire and abundance, redefines it. Conclusion. Right. Conclusion. Blackcurrant cheesecake serves as a microcosm of human experience, resilience, memory, ethics, and artistic coverage in its layers. Each bite invites reflection on how food transcends substance to become a narrative of who we are and who we aspire to be. Blackcurrant cheesecake is more than a dessert. It is a plausible paradox, a dish where history, science, and culture converge on a single plate. From its ancient origins as a humble offering to the gods to its wartime intervention as a symbol of resilience and its modern reimagination of Earth-grade kitchens, this dessert tells a story of human integrity. It bridges eras and geographies, reminding us that food is never just a substance, it is a memory, identity, and dialogue. The tartness of blackcurrant, softened by cream and curled by crunch, mirrors life's own contrast. Sweetness tempered by struggles, indulgence rooted in necessity. As we savour each bite, we taste not just flavour, but the echoes of Masonic kitchen, wartime and global fusion. In a world increasingly defined by division, blackcurrant cheesecake stands as a testament to our shared capacity to transform culture into beauty, tradition into innovation, and ingredients into art. So the next time a slice is placed before you, consider, are you merely eating dessert or are you partaking in a centuries old conversation, one that continues to evolve bite by bite, generation by generation? In its layers, we find not just pleasure but the essence of what it means to be a human, to create, to be human, to create, adapt, and savour this fleeting, fragile sweetness of existence. Thus, the story of blackcurrant cheesecake closes not with an ending, but an invitation to taste, reflect, and keep the dialogue alive. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes this week's exploration of the dish, blackcurrant cheesecake. I hope you've enjoyed this new extended version. These extended versions will feature in all my lessons on all my subjects. I hope you found it very educational, informative, detailed, and engaging. That's my hopes for all my content now going forward. Thank you for tuning in and see you all again very soon. Bye for now.